Tonight marks the halfway point of the 2019 USL Championship season, and it's been a long month for the Charleston Battery, who prepare for their 7th game in 30 days against a team that's knocked them out of the playoffs for the last 2 consecutive seasons. New York Red Bulls 2 are back in town. Hey everyone, we welcome you up to the broadcast booth. My name's Poppy Miller. Alongside me, Derek Brawley. And Derek, this is always a massive match. Red Bulls 2 lead the Eastern Conference in goals scored, and for Mike Anhauser's side, looking to remain undefeated at home. There's one player in particular for the visitors we want to keep our eye on, and that's Jared Stroud.
Yeah, Jared Stroud's a real mainstay for them, isn't he? He scores goals. He's really an all-action player, likes to get in the box. You'll see him have a really crisp left-footed finish, and he's one the home team's going to have to really look out for tonight.
Mainstay indeed. He has started 14 of the 16 games he has appeared in this season, 4 assists and 5 goals on the year. He will be one to watch. Well, for Mike Anhauser's side, one player that found the score sheet on Wednesday night against Ottawa, it's our one to watch, Vincenzo Candela.
Yeah, Candela's been a great player all season, isn't he? And now he gets his first goal of the season, which he's really pleased about. He's a big player for them because he gets involved in all their set pieces. And hopefully tonight he can really get this home crowd really up and running. 1
goal and 1 assist on the year so far. But like you said, a playmaker and creator. I managed to catch up with Mike Anhauser earlier this week to preview tonight's match.
Thing is, we've played them so many times, but how they press, where they press, just to get it in the players' minds to be prepared of what they're going to do. And we know it, and the players know it, but you have to be ready for it. And if you're not ready for it, and the game, might get chippy, and sometimes you can't make 6-7 passes in a row because of the way they press and pressure you. You have to play that one good long ball that might not be the best, but it works out in your favor, and that's what we have to do. And we did that last year and did it very well here at home. So that's what we're counting on, and obviously you got to make sure, because they're going to come in here and do what they do.
Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium for tonight's USL Championship match. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Brawley. Both teams are out and just about ready to go. Let's have a quick look at tonight's starting lineups. Well, for Mike Anhauser's side, we'll start with Red Bulls 2, John Wolniak's side. Evan Lauro gets the start between the sticks, but who else should we keep our eye on, Derek?
I think Epps and Beasercourt down that right-hand side are going to be two players that are going to have a big influence on the game, and obviously Lima, Stroud on the other side, we highlighted him earlier. So yeah, very attacking team.
And keep your eye on Carl Zayats in the middle of the park. Well, for Mike Anhauser's side, it's captain Taylor Mueller that starts in a 4-man back line tonight.
Yeah, a little change there, but it's those two players in midfield, Candela and Anunga, that's going to really base this team out. Rittmeyer and Piggott on the wing, and Daly coming in for another start up front. Young lad getting his chance, so that's going to be a real good, exciting formation tonight.
We are just about ready to go. 82 degrees and a cool breeze here on Daniel Island. New York Red Bulls 2 head to toe in all red, and Mike Anhauser's side in the historic yellow and black stripes. 15 goals scored in the regular season between these two sides last year, and Derek, we can expect more of the same, goals galore tonight.
Yeah, you'd expect so. Sometimes though, when you get these teams that they have a free scoring reign against each other, normally it can end up being one of those really tight defensive type games. I think that's more likely to come from the Battery than from Red Bull, with this young team that likes to go out and excite people. You said a stat earlier, I think, about their passing accuracy, so that's a little bit of inexperience, and that will give the Battery senior players a chance. But no, it looks like it's a real good game. Great night for soccer. Weather's fantastic, and yeah, tie yourselves in.
Despite being the highest scoring team in the east of the USL Championship, they also hold the lowest passing accuracy. But this is a side, Derek, that knows how to find the back of the net with an ever-changing lineup, of course, being the MLS affiliate.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've spoke about this numerous times, with these teams that are the second teams, if you like, for the MLS teams. They rotate players in and out just because they give opportunities to younger players, or they lose a player to the senior team further up the pyramid. But yeah, they always come with a real good attitude, and it's normally a very positive one. You know, as I said, the passing accuracy doesn't really surprise me because you've got a lot of young players, a little bit of naivety there, and it's up to the Battery to seize upon that naivety and see if they can get some goals this evening.
Romario Piggott drops one out wide to Angelo Kelly, who will anchor the right back tonight. We spoke about his versatility last match. Been all over the park for Mike Anhauser so far this season, with a couple of injuries and international duties for the side. But one piece of exciting news to share: leading goal scorer from 2018, Atula Guerra, back with the team and on the bench tonight.
Yeah, now that's a big boost, isn't it, when you get your leading striker for the last couple of seasons come back. It's like a new signing, isn't it? You know, but you know what he's got. So I'm sure it's going to take him a couple of games. I'll be very surprised if we don't see him tonight in some capacity, just to liven up this crowd. Depending on how the game goes, he might get used, but no, he's a real fan favourite here, and I'm sure they can't wait to see him play again.
One familiar face for the Red Bulls too, Tom Barlow, who scored several occasions last year at MUSC Health Stadium, been promoted to the MLS side, but one to keep your eye on, Jurgensen up top tonight, in the middle of the trio for John Wolniak.
He's a young 18-year-old player, isn't he, who's trying to find his way and getting regular minutes at this level, so he'll be really enjoying that. And as I said, it's a very young team. The Battery's a very established team, and that's what's really good about some of these games. You've got these young, exciting players, and let's not take away Nicky Daly up front for the Battery. He's 18 years of age, and he'll be relishing in tonight, getting a start, trying to show what he can do, especially with Guerra coming back into the play. He now needs, he's got a bit of a
brilliant ball through for Higashi, just couldn't quite catch up to it on that occasion. Back to your point, Derek.
Yeah, no, he's as I said, he's been the little superstar. He's come in, had some good games. Now he's got a real experienced pro looking over his shoulder at him, and I think that can only bode well for him. And he'll certainly get to train with someone at that level every day. It can only help him, can't it?
Nicky Daly, the 18-year-old at the other end of the park, very good on one-on-one opportunities, and we'll see how much pressure he can put the Red Bulls back line under. Here's Jared Van Schaik. Touch from him, and we mentioned in the pre-game a very, very heavy schedule for both these sides, really, with a midweek match. But now the Battery have the luxury of being on home soil here tonight. Buckmaster.
Yeah, they've been travelling a while, haven't they? The Battery, it's been a heavy schedule.
Here's Anunga. Can he make them pay for it at the back? Brian Anunga, no stranger to finding the back of the net against the Red Bulls. Forces the clearance there. Scored against them 3 times in the 2 meetings last year. Van Schaik drops one into the feet of Rittmeyer. Here's Niku Daly, just pops over his head. And Preston Kilwine secures it to safety. Evan Loro making his 14th start tonight for Red Bulls too. Really been one of the mainstays on the side this season so far.
Normally you find that when you've got a very young team, the one thing you need a very stable goalkeeper, don't you? Someone that's just going to solidify that back line and be a good leader, and he seems to be that sort of character, doesn't he? You know, he's a big presence, he's a big lad, and I'm sure he'll be keeping all these back 3-4 players all on their toes.
With the exception of Bezecourt in the middle, who's 26, the oldest player on the Red Bull side, just 23 years old. Here's Leland Archer. Nicely done from the Trinidad and Tobagan at the back.
And he should be commended, Leland Archer. He went away with his national team and then got replaced at a real late stage of the day. He came back and he's equipped himself really well. He's been great in training. He had a good game at Ottawa in the week, and you know, he's settled back in. He's back to doing his trade, so that's very good for him.
Higashi on the run, but not before Scarlett can get to it. Rebels trying to work it out their half. Van Schaik with the press. Marcus Epps forced out bounds. Van Schaik, one that's been on fantastic form for Mike Anhauser so far this season, especially during, like we mentioned, this difficult stretch with Open Cup and midweek USL Championship matches.
One we spoke a little bit off air, you know, Romario Pigot's going to have a big game again. He had a reasonable game the other week at home, got taken off. He scored a goal, he scored a couple of goals in his last couple of home games, but now what he needs is a real solid performance.
And here he is on the ball now. Romario Pigot, the Panamanian, trying to work his way into the box, is forced to the top, tracking straight across it, and to Rittmeyer. Rittmeyer with the delivery, it's a dangerous one up by Scarlett, the danger not over, and a high boot will mean Evan Loro can bring it out the back.
You don't want to make excuses for teams, but the Battery have had some real silly niggle and injuries. Oh, here we go with Rittmeyer's cross, but we'll talk about the injuries that they've had. They've had some niggly injuries, and it's really not been a great run of form, and I think that's why Guerra coming back into the fold will be a good thing. And you know, obviously Swanson with his red card 2 weeks ago didn't help. Jay Bolt's been a big miss for this Battery team because he is Mr. Utility. So Angelo Kelly seems to have picked up that mantle.
With a spring in his step, couldn't complete it on that occasion, and now maybe an opportunity. Jorgensen arguing with the referee. He was held back, but no damage done for the Battery.
And it was definitely manhandled there, but I think it was just a case of too much strength there, and that's something he'll have to come to terms with if he's going to play at this level. Here's Pigot again.
Romario Pigot with some speed on the far side. Kilwine finds feet out the back. Picked up loose ball by Candela. Into Tarbrine and Nunga. Jared Van Schaik joins in the attack, and he takes the strike, and what a test on Evan Loro there, and Scarlett straight to safety. That'll be a corner for the Battery.
No, that really was a great strike, and he's scored a couple of great goals this year from that same sort of position. Here you come. It's a great ball by Anunga, but it's a great touch out his feet. Look, head down, strikes through it. Goalkeeper does well just to get both hands on it.
Jared Van Schaik with 2 goals and 1 assist on the season so far. A fiery left foot that you could just see from outside the box. And here comes Vincenzo Candela with an in-swinger from this near side. Height in the box. The referee just having a word there. Some pushing and shoving maybe going on inside. Candela with the delivery. A good ball towards the back post and punched away by Loro.
He wasn't taking any chance there, was he, Loro? He just 2 hands to it, get it out there, get it out of danger. Good delivery in by Candela, so that's a good sign for the Battery that they, the set pieces they're getting, they're putting good quality delivery in there.
Jared Stroud, the one we highlighted in the intro, trying to bring them out. Keep your eye on both these teams, looking for the opportunity for a counter-attack. Plucked out the sky by Van Schaik. Lemmer. Finds feet out wide. The press is on from the Battery, but they can work it through. Bezecourt. Stroud with the delivery, maybe overcooked, but the race is on.
I think it's probably important to mention, Poppy, to the viewers at home that you're probably seeing a lot of sand on the field, and it's actually not making the surface play any differently. Visually, it doesn't look the greatest, but the field is dead flat, but they had to put a lot of sand on with the volumes of rain that they had. But, you know, we were both down pitch side. It's a great surface, even though the sand's on there. Some of the viewers may see some sand just popping up from here and there, but you can see as he rolls, Joe Kosminski rolls out, the playing surface is in really good condition. It just doesn't look very, very good.
Here comes the Baby Bulls on the attack. Brilliant header. Just popped wide. Fan Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues around the world since 1947. Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com. Kosminski having a standout season for Mike Anhauser, really finding his confidence this year. Last season had 12 clean sheets in 24 matches. But tonight could very well be tested. Bezecourt looking for the through ball for Epps. Kosminski quickly out of the back. The veteran Van Schaik, Mario Piggott dropping over to this near side now. And almost a brilliant turn from the Japanese veteran.
Battery, they're going to do well tonight. They need Piggott. They need Candela. They need Higashi to have really good games, get on the ball and deliver well. Here's a bit of a silly foul here now. I think it looked worse than what it was. I think Candela just misjudges his jump into him. I think who is it who's down, who's injured?
Let's have another look at this. You can see on here.
Yeah, he's just turned in, he's realised he's not going to get there, he's turned his back to protect himself. I think the referee's seen it, he's going to have a little word and then get on. It's just one of them awkward ones where he's probably winded.
Referee just having a word there. Niku Daly, the youngster. Captain Taylor Mueller, the man in the mask, after suffering a face injury against Indy 11. Everybody is up and okay down below. John Warniak just having a word with the assistant referee.
I think what was explained there, he goes, yeah, he was looking at the ball, he just turned his back to protect himself. I mean, it probably was a sore one, but I'm not sure it was one that was intended.
Yeah. Looks bad out here.
It'll be Jordan Scarlett, the Jamaican, making his 15th start tonight. Highest on minutes played for this Red Bulls 2 side. Goes short. Hillwine launches one forward. Angelo Kelly there. Maybe not enough pace on it to go all the way through. He's forced to make the clear out the back.
Yeah, and Joe Kosminski there went tearing out there to get it, but there was a little bit of miscommunication there between the two of them.
Lemmer. Returns. Good ball to the top of the box. Left for Marcus Epps, who dinks one across. Could this be a chance? What a save by Kosminski at the near post. Buckmaster joining in the attack there.
He's given offside there, but it was great tracking by Piggott, to be fair to him. But Joe Kosminski does it. He stands up well. You'll see here that I think he's just offside at the end, but again, it's a great save, but great tracking there by Romario Piggott.
Numbers in the attack for Mike Anhauser's side. 4 across the front line. It goes to Daly. Scarlett with the press. Nico Rittmeyer tracking out the far side. Luba. Brilliant ball into the attack. Bezecourt lays it to the top of the box. It's Stroud. Just wide of the target. He's saying it takes a deflection, but the referee gives a goal kick.
Again, that's where Stroud's at his best, isn't we spoke about him pre-game, but he arrives in the box, he finds that little pocket. It's a great run by him, and it's a great finish. He side foots it in. Look, here we go. Look, he just gets ahead of his marker there, shapes up really well. Probably just comes too high up his leg and goes out. You can see Taylor Mueller was really having a look at eyeballing at Tar Brian and Unga there, just making sure that he tracks his runner.
Bezecourt, the Frenchman, in the middle with the service. Brilliantly laced ball through. Back and forth in the middle of the park. Candela going to have to be careful now.
The New York Red Bull players are all over the referee right now, telling him, you know, it's a second challenge, Then the referee is going to tell him now, he's going to talk to him. That is, he's just saying, that's your last one. Get on with it. And as I said, you know, that I don't like seeing that when players start getting on to referees about other players, you know, because it always comes back to haunt you in the end.
Well, we mentioned it's been a difficult week for both these sides. With a midweek match, the New York Red Bulls had their game called off against Nashville. Pumped up no worries for Kuzminski after severe weather and lightning delays. Prior to that, they were on the road taking on Bob Lilly's Pittsburgh Riverhounds. A 3-0 loss there. They're looking to get back to winning ways here tonight.
No, for sure. I mean, yeah, you know, the game in the week that, you know, I don't think it helps you, do I'm sure they prepared for the game, they were ready for the game, and then not to play it probably was a real downer, and then they've got to come and travel again. So I'm not sure that's the greatest preparation before a game. You know, the Battery, though, that they were, you know, on the road, Ottawa, that's a long journey, one of the longest they'll make. So, yeah, the game's a little bit scrappy right now.
Gashi couldn't get around Scarlett, took a deflection. We'll be throwing for the Baby Bulls down this near side. Talking of Ottawa, the Red Bulls too will finally return home to MSU Soccer Park to take on Ottawa Fury next Saturday. And a bit of a break for both these teams, with a full week of training coming up for them. No midweek matches for either side. Here's Naku Daly. Just ran away from him at the last second.
Won't the Battery play Friday next week?
The Battery take on Atlanta United 2 away. Now maybe a turnover here. Lemma couldn't create anything from it, and Mueller out of the back. This one from Higashi. Buckmaster. Nicely pinged around by the visitors. Luba. Good spell of possession from John Wanliek's side. Luba quickly taken. Ground ball to the top of the box. Van Schaik comes through. Back and forth, but the strike is there, and easy for Kuzminski to collect.
There's a nice little passage of play there by New York Red Bulls too. You know, they had it. Here's Daly on the chase.
Daly showing his speed there. Scarlett comes steaming in. And Jordan Scarlett having that every day of the week. A good matchup that will be tonight, though.
Yeah, here's a little shot from the edge of the box, wasn't it here? Just couldn't get enough on it, really. Sort of wriggled around, tried to flip it back in there, and very comfortable save for Joe Kuzminski.
Anunga takes the deflection off Bezecourt. Lemma knocks one out wide to the captain. It's a brilliant ball through, but offside. Mueller was there. Jurgensen just hanging on that last defender.
Yeah, he's just shown his little bit of immaturity there, and he's got to time his runs a little bit better. He'll learn that. He's very young, and but it's a very intelligent run. Just went a bit too early. He'll be working on that. He's got good pace by the looks of it. He doesn't need to go too early.
Jurgensen already with 5 MLS appearances on the season so far, one of which was a start. The Red Bulls' youngest rostered player in 2019 for the MLS side. Red Bulls too, a perfect example of just showing that pathway to pro, with so many academy players out there that have made the journey from the academy all the way to the first team. And exciting for the Battery as well, having James Cox on the bench tonight, who's also come through the academy and attended Bishop, England, just 2 miles away from MUSC Health Stadium.
No, true. I mean, America really is now starting to create career opportunities for young players at all levels. You know, the USL Academy stepping up, and I'm very fortunate enough to be part of that for next year. So hopefully there'll be a regular conveyor belt of players coming through the academy and working their way into the first team. And we all know that all the clubs love seeing a homegrown player, don't they? They love it.
Referee just pulling back. A free kick there Again, the visitors barking at the referee. Daly dropping in behind the ball. That'll be everybody back for Mike Anhauser's side. See the Red Bulls bench down below. John Rolniak just out of your vision. Let's have another look at this, Derek.
Yeah, I'm not trying to see who made the tackle, but it was an all-action effort, wasn't it? But again, nothing severe. Referee got it right. He's right on top of it.
Sergei Jamanchuk, the man in the middle for tonight's match. Buckmaster forced out by Rittmeyer. Wins the second ball. Is there, but it falls for Anunga, who launches one forward for Daly. Gordon Scarlett quickly on his back, and the Jamaican is letting the youngster know he's there.
No, I'm sure he's not going to get an easy ride, is he, Nicky Daly, today? I mean, this is a big game for him because he's playing against almost people like his peers, isn't he? You know, same sort of age group in a lot of cases, and they're going to have the same enthusiasm as him, and he's just got to see if he can use, we've said it, unpredictability, to see if he can create a few openings for himself.
Q Daly also started against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. It's his second start for the black and yellow here tonight. Kelly in acres of space. Turns on the Jets as he forces down the far flank. Nothing to come of it, maybe caught between two minds there.
Looked at the turf there, but I think that was just a bad piece of bad technique, wrong decision. So we're like 20 minutes in. The game was a little bit scrappy at times. We had a couple of little half chances, and there's a lot of work ethic out there, a lot of work rate, a lot of energy. Just needs to settle down now and let the quality take over.
Evan Luro, the New Jersey native, 2 clean sheets on the season so far. Was the second ever homegrown signee for the Red Bulls. Just 23 years old. Spent most of his career with the Red Bulls. The only club other than the Red Bulls he's played for is Detroit FC. And now the referee is going to have a word. Taylor Mueller over. Speaking to Mike Anhauser earlier this week, in the past we've seen this game get a little chippy. That's going to be a yellow card for the captain. And chippy is exactly what it got last week as well against Swope Park Rangers, with 2 red cards in extra time. Let's have another look at this with Mueller.
Yeah, what Taylor Mueller's saying there was he was the one that got kicked, but he did retaliate, and he should know better than that. He's been around the game a long time. Yeah, he got kicked. He's got to let the referee deal with that one. The referee saw it. So, sure, you don't want your centre half and your captain on a yellow card, especially when you've got some of these young players that sometimes are a little bit quicker than you running through. And one mistake now and it can cost your team.
As head coach Mike Anhauser on your screen, we speak about him week in, week out. Hard to think of the Battery without thinking about him. Celebrated his 25th anniversary with the club last season. And here comes Candela, bringing the energy in the middle. Across to Higashi, Rittmeyer on the run. Higashi couldn't thread it in front of him, but the Battery's still on the front foot. Rittmeyer all the way across the park, finds the feet of Pigott. The overlapping run coming in a timely fashion from Angelo Kelly. And nicely done over there on the far side. Kelly just coming back from a niggling injury, the Honduran, in his second season with Mike Anhauser's side.
He sort of picked up where Jay Bolt left off, doesn't he? He can play in a multitude of positions, and he does them all fairly well. And
great trickery from Candela. It's Anunga into Rittmeyer, takes a deflection. Q Daly works to get it back. Daly couldn't quite get over it. Brilliant vision by the young Jamaican.
It just shows you there, that was all about pace and power, wasn't it? He saw it, he got it, he turned, he hit it. We'd probably like to have the shot again, but it just shows you if you give him a little bit of time, especially around the edge of that box, he can cause problems.
You see so many fans down below us out of your normal camera shot, enjoying tonight's match. Perfect conditions for a summer night, and conditions that are only going to get hotter as the summer goes on. I'm sure these players will be relishing these conditions. Pigott. Touch on it.
Took a real tumble there, didn't he?
Fans, you can follow the Charleston Battery and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC and many more. Join over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every single week. Sign up today at espnplus.com. Bezecourt dinks one towards the penalty spot, interrupted. Here comes Anunga. Brilliant work from the Cameroonian in the middle of the park, gets a cheer from the crowd down below. Higashi takes over. Pigott coming running in. It's a positive touch from Pigott and out for a corner.
Yeah, and you can see there he knew it, didn't he? He knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to take that little touch and just slide through, but just didn't work out for him now. It's a corner on the far side. He had a very good opportunity there, Romario Pigott.
Vincenzo Candela, the one to take the set pieces if there is no Zico Lewis. But we're saying in the last match, Derek, we'd love to see some chances capitalised on after the amount of set piece opportunities they were against Swope Park Rangers.
Yeah, no, they had loads, didn't they? They didn't really take full advantage. It's hopefully they've done some work on the training ground and it reap rewards now.
Candela, brilliant ball in. Pigott picks up the seconds. Leads Candela back in. It's a ground ball this time. And the Battery remain on the attack. Angelo Kelly, little right back. Good ball looking for Higashi, who's brought down. And now this really could be an opportunity, Derek.
Yeah, no, it's very, sometimes though these are similar to corners, so I'm sure that's how they'll set up both teams. Yeah, the big guys are coming forward for the Battery, and the New York Red Bulls, they'll just sit in, you know, I'm sure they'll defend it exactly the same. Well, they're going to have two players in the wall. It's funny, for a 5-yard difference, they've got 2 people in the wall, and yet you wouldn't put people in the wall there for a corner. That was only one now, they just pulled one away.
This time it's going to be Jared Van Schaik with that left foot. Let's see what he fancies here. Like you mentioned, the height in the box. Taylor Mueller, Leland Archer up there in the mix.
This will probably go in with good pace, trying to drive it probably a yard outside the far post. That's what we're trying to curl it into the far post.
There's Jared Van Schaik, fancy his chances. It's a brilliantly whipped in ball. Evan Lauro got a fingernail on it.
That was a good punch by him there, under a lot of pressure.
Here's Rip Meyer, looking to keep the momentum going. High boot. Luther down there on Higashi.
I don't think he caught him, but he's not the tallest of players, and that's what the players are saying. It wasn't that high. He was bending down and he's low, but the referee's quite right. It's dangerous play. You don't want any players getting boots in the face. Now another exciting position here for Candela, who's, to be fair, his last 2 deliveries have been very, very good. So if he can keep that going, get close and get one of these big guys on it. And it can always be one of them situations where the defenders just happen to get something on it and deflect it past their keeper. Sure, Loro now is really, look, you can see he's getting his players nice and tight.
A series of opportunities for the Battery. It's Vincenzo Candela ready to whip one in. Numbers surround the box. Brilliant ball in, and Lauro once again rises big for the visitors.
He's electing to punch right now rather than catch under pressure.
Candela once more. Takes a deflection this time. Van Schaik there. Battery got to work back quickly now, and it's Daly to drop back into the back line. Q Daly, probably one of the fastest players on the team for Mike Anhauser. That's not a bad race with him and Marcus Epps.
No, and I think Mike Anhauser will be very pleased to see the effort that his young striker was doing there, prepared to do that. Working off the ball, the hard work of soccer.
Here's Epps once more, some trickery outside the box. It's incoming. And Van Schaik before Kuzminski. The trio in the middle, denied by Higashi. Buckmaster, the Indiana native. Player from this outside back position. 7 key passes on the season so far. Keep your eye on him getting into the attack tonight. Pressure on Rittmeyer. Forced all the way back to Mueller.
That's great play there, wasn't it? Great midfield play, the way he protected the ball, held the players off. Fantastic play.
Rittmeyer in his third season with Mike Anhauser's side. Here's Romario Pigott, numbers in the box once again, but not that far across.
No, that was the wrong decision there. Everyone had gone short for the little pullback, and he looked up, saw people go. He knows it now as well, didn't he? All the players made that little run for the cut back there, and he just flew it over the far post, and no one was there.
I've got to say, so far in this match, the Battery with some big chances. Can they capitalise on them is the question. 30 minutes in the books from MUSC Health Stadium. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you for joining us for tonight's match, wherever you are. Shake just being forced to drop back. Finds the feet of Archer. A little way around the back for the home side. Fans, who's up, who's down, where does your club sit? Find out every Monday in the official USL Championship Power Rankings, only on uslchampionship.com. Kilwine. Brilliant header out of the back. Epps on the run. Van shakes there and leaves it for Kuzminski.
Good supporting position from your goalie there. When the ball goes over your head, you're facing your own goal. It's great to see your goalkeeper with a good high start position that comes out, takes a decision away from you.
Red Bulls 2 sitting third in the Eastern Conference.
No, he played it.
He lost 4 matches on the season so far. They've only won 2 matches away from home. On the other hand, like we mentioned, Mike Anhauser's side undefeated so far this season on home soil.
And that's a record they're going to want to keep up. It's going to be under threat now with this corner. We'll see now what New York Red Bull have got. You know, these MLS teams and their second teams pride themselves on their set plays. Let's see what they've been working on.
It's Chris Lemmer to take it. He's got 2 assists on the season so far. Goes ground ball. Tar Brian Anunga first to the races.
Looks very powerful right now, doesn't he, Anunga? You know, he's running with strength. He looks like he's back to his peak fitness again, and he's all action defending.
You mentioned Tar Brian Anunga with 3 goals against the Red Bulls 2 last season. Springing his step again tonight. Here's Chris Lemmer one more time. Brilliant ball towards the back post. Archer straight up and out. Daly on the run. Effortlessness of Nikhil Daly stretching his stride. Sorry. Euro with time at the back. Scarlett for Buckmaster. Nicely done by the left back to intercept into the feet of Anunga. Here's Higashi.
It's a bit tight to be playing that type of football in there. Sometimes you're better off putting your foot through it, clearing it out, have your target player ready.
There's a court. Going across the box. Wine gets it back into the attack to keep it going. Pigott into Candela. Room to roam for Rittmeyer. Rittmeyer toying at the top of the box.
He really does need to go on the outside there again. I've said it week in, week out. He's so good when he goes on the outside. Cuts back in and causes himself a problem. Yeah, but there's the other side of his game. Look at him hustling back. Great attitude to defend for his team.
Buckmaster. Orchestrator from the back line. Lemmer out wide. Stroud on this near side now. It's a dangerous one, but nobody there. Kuzminski only really had to make some comfortable saves so far in this first half.
Yeah, he's been very efficient, hasn't he? He's not really been tested. The one chance that just went past the post, you'll think he had it covered. But, you know, his technique's very good, as he makes everything look nice and easy. I think what you saw there was Taylor Mueller really having a go at Nico Rittmeyer there, because he, his failure to take on his fullback. Here he is in there, and Taylor Mueller spotted it straight away.
Stroud looking to keep it alive. Aerial balls falls for Piggott. Rittmeyer forced to turn back. Can he find the feet of Van Schaik? No, but Higashi is there. Good trickery. Rittmeyer with the delivery. All the way over. Naku's there. Offside is the call.
I'm sure Mike Anhauser will want to see more going forward from Nico Rittmeyer. It's great that he runs back and chases people and hustles back in, but his strength really is going at defenders, getting crosses in. We saw that the other night against Ottawa. We've done some unbelievable skill, turned around and set up Vincenzo Candella's goal. So plenty more of that needed.
Scarlett picks up the loose ball. Baby Ball's looking to keep the possession. There's a long ball for Jared Stroud. Just watched out by Angelo Kelly. And Derek, Red Bulls too have taken the most amount of shots in the USL Championship, but tonight we haven't really seen that so far.
No, I mean, they're up against a very strong defensively minded team. You know, the Battery are known for their home record. They're very, very hard to beat. They work extremely hard off the ball. They work to get into their shape very quickly. And then the referees now, I think Taylor Mueller's going to over speak on behalf of the team that it's a silly tackle. It all surprises me.
Just having a word there.
Yeah, it all surprises me that referees take so much time to talk to the players. You know, make your mind, say your bit, and then move on.
Captain Taylor Mueller there in his 8th season with the Charleston Battery, approaching 200 professional career appearances. There's the youngster James Cox, the new signee, who actually made his debut on Wednesday night in Ottawa. Pretty solid game as well. I'm sure the nerves were at an all-time high for that one.
It's funny, I actually was speaking to his assistant coach at his high school last night. He was telling me what a great young man he was, and you know, the first time he met him, he shook his hand, and how positive he was, and how much forward he was looking to this opportunity of playing for the Battery at such a young age. So fantastic for him.
Known goal scorer locally here on Daniel Island, like we mentioned, an academy player, had attended Bishop, England. Big things to come for his future. Angelo Kelly. Overhead kick gets the applause from the home side, but dispossessed in the middle of the park. Jordan Scarlett, the anchor man at the back.
Crowd love seeing those, don't they? Overhead kicks, bicycle kicks, banana kicks, whatever you could. You know, it's like whatever you want, they love seeing it.
Piggott into Anunga 1-2 is there. It's a good turn from Romario Piggott. Can he connect the final ball? Offside again is the call. And some pushing and shoving once more. This time Reese Buckmaster. We're just going to have a word with both players there. What do you think there, Derek?
I don't know what the referee's talking to Nico Rittmeyer for. I mean, obviously you didn't hear the whistle. Here we'll see. Look. He's still trying to play on. Look. And he's been thrown to the floor. The referee's got that one wrong. Can't just throw someone to the ground and expect nothing to happen.
Reese Buckmaster, the 4-year starter at Indiana University, selected 32nd overall in this year's draft. And there's been some good one-on-ones all over the pitch tonight, some good matchups.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, as I said, you know, this is a very keenly fought game. And as I said to you, you know, we were expecting loads of goals based on what we've seen in the last couple of years, but sometimes it goes the other way, and that's clearly what's happened here. It's very, very tight. You know, maybe one goal will open it up and everyone can start to play, but right now it's a very tight affair. Both teams are working extremely hard not to give anything away. Neither goalkeepers have really tested other than a few crosses.
Buckmaster there. 4-1 with the second ball, forced the feet of Van Schaik, who just launches it Lauro's way. Approach the final 5 minutes of regulation here from Charleston, South Carolina. Head coach John Wolniak on your screen there, who played for Red Bulls back in the day until he retired to make way for Thierry Henry.
It's not a bad person to make way for, I think.
Only head coach that this Red Bulls team has ever known, John Wolniak. Had some brilliant successes come through his ranks.
I think he understands his role, doesn't he? He knows his job is not necessarily to win the champions every year, but to give these players a good grounding so that they can make the next stage up.
We've seen so many players graduate from this side into the MLS. Tom Barlow being one of the latest ones. Higashi trying to find some greenery, is brought down by Epps.
This is what happens with referees. Sometimes they don't give out cards, or they lose it. Now you can hear the fans now. You know, they've seen several fouls now, and we'll see here again. Look, it's a clear, you know, an arm across his shoulder. They're dragging him down.
Taro Higashi, just 5'6", extremely agile. This will bring up a free kick out of the back for Jared Van Schaik. Van Schaik in his 4th season with the black and yellow, the veteran leaders of this side along with Mueller. Daly trying to turn at the top of the box. Still Daly running into some traffic, and Scarlett is there. Dink ball over by Van Schaik, just runs out of room and quickly taken by the Baby Bulls. Both managers down below, up off the bench, dishing out some order to their respective sides. Mike Anhauser there, the one to watch. Bezecourt. Nico Rittmeyer all the way for Angelo Kelly. Brilliant ball through for Piggott. Looked like it took a deflection.
It's just going to run away, isn't it? It was a good idea. Acres of space in front of him, Romario Piggott there.
Looking to generate an attack. Once again, it's Rittmeyer. Good step from Tarbrine Anunga. Led the battery in tackles and interceptions last season, the 2018 MVP for the side. And just a loose one from Angelo, who's come all the way across from the outside back position. 3 minutes left to play of regulation here. Derek, your thoughts so far on the match?
It's not really got going, has it really? I mean, it's been, you know, I said you can't fault the players for their endeavour. There's been lots of energy, you know, a lot of tackles, but in terms of, you know, clear goal scoring opportunities, there hasn't been too many. A few crosses from the battery, a couple of little build-up plays. So the game, you know, you wouldn't have thought you'd have said that before, but the game's crying out for a goal that will open this game up, and then maybe both teams will start to play with a bit more freedom. The word you used was getting a bit chippy, and you can see that it's been stop, start, a lot of players moaning at referees, so yeah, it just needs to calm down and let people play.
Evan Lauro launches one out of the back. Leland Archer there first. Zayas Maybe a loose one there, and it's going to be a straight red card for Anunga. Well, you just said it, Derek, things starting to get a bit chippy, but I wasn't expecting that.
No, and as I said, you know, the way, we'll have to see it. I mean, obviously the screen didn't help. But we'll see now. We got the hindsight of a replay. Let's have a look here. He stood on his foot. The referee made his mind up very, very quickly, hadn't he?
Anunga departs the game early, just before half-time. Straight red card for him, and now Mike Anhauser's side down to 10 men.
Yeah, I think what it is there, I mean, we'll see it again, I'm sure, but you know, it is a foul. It's a clear foul, but you know, I'm not so sure. You know, they're looking at his knee. I mean, I think he stood on the top of his foot. It's not wild. It's not reckless. It's not out of control. You know, it's certainly a sore one. And as I said, I think you can hear in the back people saying, look, you know, he's definitely stood on his foot for sure, but he's not that far away from the ball. This is one where if you had a VAR system, maybe it would be reviewed and we would look at it.
You can hear the shout for replay down below. They're not seeing anything that we're seeing on the Jumbotron. That's why you can hear their shouts. But now we're into added on time here for the first half. Seen Q Daly, it was Bezecourt, the man down, looks to be up and okay. And Captain Taylor Mueller just having a word with the centre referee there.
And I think tonight the referee's caused his own little bit of problems there, because, and you don't want to speak badly of referees, but he's let a few tackles go. I mean, you saw someone just get thrown to the ground, no retribution, and you see a tackle. And in hindsight, he was probably too close. He was probably too close to that tackle. I'm sure if you saw the replay we'd see, I'm sure he'd review it and go, no, good yellow card, get on with the game.
Now Mike Anhauser's side adjusting to 10 men. Kotaro Higashi looks to have dropped back into the midfield, and the Q Daly will be the lone striker tonight for the remainder of this match. Just 1 minute of added on time.
Yeah, I think, you know, very clearly now the battery will go 4-4-1, won't they? They'll put two banks of four. They've got a great player up front who can play with just speed. They'll probably have to play on the counter attack, and the Key Daly will love that, won't he? That's what he's good at. That's what he thrives on. And I'm sure New York Red Bulls will throw a few more forward, you know, thinking they've got a chance to go and get 3 points in this game.
Epps brings it down in the middle, all the way back to Loro. Straight into the crowd and punched back. And it looks like that's going to be all we see from the first half at MUSC Health Stadium, scoreless. But Mike Anhauser's side down to 10 men. Anunga with the red card. Let's take a look at some first half highlights. We're actually going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll take a look around the USL Championship. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly. It's that time of the week again. It's time to take a look around the USL Championship in this week's Around the League, presented by Home Telecom. And Derek, we'll start with the team of the week. One of the biggest things to note there, 2 players represented from Sacramento Republic after their historic 6-0 win against Tulsa Roughnecks.
Yeah, no, when your team wins 6-0, you really want to see your strikers recognised, and clearly the 2 lads here clearly are. But it's great to see a variety of teams represented on this board.
Stefano Bonomo scored 2 goals in that historic win, but who else there stands out to you?
I think, there's 2 Millers there, but Stephen Miller got a goal and an assist against St. Louis, so he's one that definitely stands out because he's in the conference that we play in.
And talking of North Carolina FC, they released some very exciting news with the renderings of their new stadium that will be in downtown Raleigh.
No, this is another great sign that the game's growing here in America, isn't it? The stadiums that are being built are fantastic. They're putting them in great downtown locations. And the next thing is, I'm sure fans will come out and support it. We've seen it at Atlanta with the MLS, and now we're seeing it in North Carolina. So it's a great advertisement for the game and a great opportunity for young players to play in some of the best stadiums around the world. And
speaks absolutely volumes of the leagues and the stadiums that we're now getting, and like you said, selling out.
No, that's the big point. It's great building these stadiums, but you've got to fill them, and that really looks like it's going to happen in North Carolina.
Some exciting news around the USL Championship. As always, join us next week for the Around the League.
For almost 2 decades, San Diego has been waiting for a professional soccer club it can call its own. Now led by leading soccer executive and co-founder of Sacramento Republic FC, Warren Smith, and legendary United States men's national team player Landon Donovan, its club has arrived. The USL Championship is coming to the University of San Diego's Torero Stadium, bringing all the excitement of the fastest growing league in North America to one of the top soccer markets in the United States.
All right, gentlemen. I don't think we need to kind of review what this game means, but it is a really important opportunity for us. I think it's an important opportunity for you guys in a lot of ways.
Goal is to advance in the U.S. Open Cup by beating Cincinnati. It is that simple. Any questions? Let's go, gentlemen.
It's more than just the 2 clubs. There's a bit of an angst between the cities, quite frankly. You can feel it.
There's just so much on the line. We're in the 3rd year now of seeing FC Cincinnati with a lot of big moments that have happened and history built up.
Last year we came here twice and we won both games. Dealing with the crowd, the pressure, I think is one advantage that we'll have as we've dealt with it.
4th round of the 2019 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, the site of the renewal of one of the great budding rivalries in U.S. soccer, FC Cincinnati. Now the big dog from Major League Soccer hosting Louisville City FC, a rainy Nippert Stadium, the perfect place, Lorena, to renew the River City rivalry.
Now gets the time, Sam Warner, the beauty. Jamal Johnson, he only knows bangers.
Look at Taylor moving up.
And Taylor, what a beautiful strike! Are you kidding? Johnson from distance! Oh, yes! A great save from C.J. Cochran.
It means everything to me. I mean, I always joke around that the first year I got here, we won a championship, and then 2 years later, we won a championship again. So I was joking around, make it like it's me, but it's not. We all work together. We're one big family here. It means a lot to win. It means a lot to keep the players on the field. We want to win, but we want to win safely. So, my role is to be their advocate, look out for them when they're struggling, anything like that. Practice, not much has really changed in practice. That's the one good thing working with Coach Anhauser. we're pretty set in our ways, and I have a good idea every day coming in knowing exactly what we're going to do that day. The biggest differences I've seen is with the league. FIFA mandated hydration breaks, and the league finally adopted that. When I first started 10 years ago, we didn't do hydration breaks. Guys just played 90 minutes, or if they could get to the sideline to get a drink, they would, or on substitutes or injury break. The other thing the league did was they eliminated back-to-back games. When I first started, we played a lot of back-to-back games to help with travel costs. And so we would play a Friday night in Pittsburgh and a Saturday afternoon in Rochester. And it doesn't really give the players time to recover. So, taking those short turnarounds, is huge for player safety. And it's been a godsend for us. We don't have to worry about players. We get those recovery days before we play again. So it definitely is helpful in injury management. My name is Bobby Weisenberger. I'm an athletic trainer for MUSC Sports Medicine and head athletic trainer for Charleston Battery.
Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium. It's halftime here between the Charleston Battery and New York Red Bulls 2. But while we have a second, let's turn our attention to the next upcoming match for the Battery. They will head to Fifth Third Bank Stadium to take on Atlanta United 2, a team that we played not too long ago, Derek.
No, there's two things about this game. One, it's a Friday night game. We know where the team's used to playing on a Saturday, so training schedules that week could always be a little bit of influence in some way. Secondly, they're playing against a team that they played their senior team not too long ago. And thirdly, they played this team at home in a 1-1 draw not long ago. So a lot of familiar faces, a lot of familiar atmospheres, and it's one that the home team really is going to really look to get a result against the Battery.
A lot of familiar faces from that Open Cup match against Atlanta United. Well, then the Battery will return home to take on one of the new teams in the Eastern Conference, Memphis 901.
Yeah, and again, this is one that the fans really look forward to. They've never seen this Memphis team before, and they don't really know what to expect. I think the Battery will be really looking to keep their home record going. They'll probably see this as a three-point opportunity, and I'm sure that the players, now that we're getting past that halfway stage of the season, they'll be looking now for points, and they're looking now towards the playoffs.
And it's been an exciting couple of weeks here at the Battery after signing James Cox, one of the local boys who attended Bishop, England, but came through the academy.
Yep, this is always a great opportunity for young players, and I think it sets the tone for the Charleston Battery Youth Club, which I'm very fortunate enough to head up at the moment. But everyone loves a homegrown player. Everybody loves a kid that they've seen play locally, and these sort of people put bums on seats because everyone wants to come out and see how well they're doing. For me, taking over the youth team, this is a great opportunity for a lot of the players now that are coming in, because now they actually do see that there is a pathway through to the pros.
And of course, he made his debut against Ottawa Fury on the road. Imagine what that moment must have been like for the youngster.
Yeah, I think that sometimes people sell these dreams, don't they? But now, not only did he sign his contract, but he actually got to play. So he's actually got the dream in the same week that he signed, which is fantastic. And what it shows is the Battery are prepared to give young players a chance in their first team, which bodes well for the future.
Bright things ahead for James Cox. Well, we're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll have second half action from MUSC Health Stadium. Stay with us, we'll be back soon. Welcome back to MUSC Health Stadium. It's halftime here between the Charleston Battery and New York Red Bulls 2. Well, the teams have made their way back out onto the pitch. A dramatic ending, Derek, to the first half. Let's take a look at some first half highlights. We'll start from the very beginning. A couple of brilliant opportunities for the Battery in the early going.
Yeah, first one, Jared Van Schaik, great one, hit the target, head down. Here's the one that was just offside. We were talking about great defending there by Mario Piggott for the home team. This is Vincenzo Candela's free kick with the goalkeeper. Loro comes out, just gets a good punch. There was a couple of those in the first half. But then here's the big incident for the first half. It's this sending off. The more I watch it, the more I think the Battery have been hard done by. It's certainly a foul. He definitely caught on it. And I do believe the referee was there too quickly. He didn't have a real chance to give himself some time to really review it and see it. And again, maybe that's another reason why people want to start talking about the VAR system, okay, to overcome situations like that.
That was our hometown hero you just saw on the pitch, Mikey Batias, also leader of the regiment, the support group here at the Charleston Battery. Just one change at the half. Kyle Nelson makes his way onto the pitch in replace of Nico Rittmeyer. A bit of a defensive change from Mike Anhauser.
Yeah, now what I thought he was going to do is I thought he was going to put Jared Van Schaik in the midfield, but he's just done it. He's done it the other way. He's brought Angelo Kelly, who is a traditional midfield player. He's, there's a lack of height in the centre there, but certainly Angelo Kelly will show a lot more of his tenacity. And to be honest with you, it might actually help the Battery playing a more direct game into Nikki Daly, because that's really what he thrives on. So it's two banks of four, central striker, and playing on the break for the second half, I'm sure.
A shame for Tar Brian Anunga, who was, of course, playing so well prior to the red card. But we're back underway for the second half. Poppy Miller alongside Derek Brawley. Thank you for joining us for tonight's match, wherever you are. Angelo Kelly, like you mentioned, now in the midfield, the duo with Vincenzo Candela.
What they'll miss from Anunga is his pace and his power and his strength, but Angelo Kelly, he'll bring something in there. He's a tenacious player himself, just not the same stature. But as I said, that you'll see they're a little bit more defensive. You can see straight away they're getting into their two lines of four, and they're going to make them New York Red Bulls team break them down.
Good ball chipped over, no worries again for Kuzminski. He's only had to make some pretty comfortable saves in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, the highlights really was like, three sort of very random opportunities, and then the sending off was the talking point. And yet it wasn't a bad game, and we said lots of energy, lots of enthusiasm, just not a lot of quality, and hopefully that will improve the second half for both teams.
Lemmer back for Bezecourt. Offside on that occasion.
Yeah. Jorgensen really is he's a very bright young player. You see he's got great technique, he's a good athlete. He's just struggling a little bit to come to terms with the movement needed to deal with like the Taylor Muellers and the Leland Archers, because he just hasn't quite got in behind at all. You can see some of the players getting a little bit frustrated with him. But it's a great learning step for him to come and play at this level, and I'm sure he'll learn very quickly.
Like we've mentioned, the Danish forward, New York's youngest roster player this year. Already has 5 MLS appearances. Here's Niku Daly. Could this be a chance? He tries to poke it through. The danger not over Higashi was there, but out the back by Red Bulls too. A brilliant chance there for the young Jamaican.
And as I said, this might help the Battery plan on the break. They're not going to have loads of people going on supporting runs for him, and he actually done fantastically well there just to get through, didn't he? I'm sure we'll get a chance to see that again, where he just, as I said, it's a good opportunity. Here we go now. Look, he's just in behind. Great little take. Probably should have shot it a little bit earlier. Maybe could have even used his left foot, but you can see he's a real threat when he's got green grass in front of him.
Absolutely fantastic one-on-one as well. Here's Jared Van Schaik joining in the attack. Traffic around him, but he manages to keep the ball not on the same page as Higashi though. The game's starting to open up. Nicely done by Angelo Kelly. A brilliant turn from Piggott. A hefty touch is still trying to get through. And the referee is going to pull it back. The Battery bench furious with Demanchuk's decision in the middle.
And again, I think the referee's got it there. I think it's Kilwine here. He just puts his body in front, doesn't he? Look, it's good defending. He's just blocked his run. It's not obstruction, he's just used himself, and Angelo Kelly's run into the back of him.
Kilwine in his first season in the USL, signed with the club after a 2-week trial. 4-year letterman at Florida Gulf Coast University. Ball that's been a bit of a mainstay in the back line. Archer. Nice and composed from the centre back.
And it's that older situation now, you know, people think you've got a man over now it's going to give you the real control of the game, but with these younger players, they've got to learn to manage that. And right now they haven't really done that, as they, you know, they're not dominating possession right now. You know, I'm sure as the game goes on they'll have more and more possession, but they've got to really try and work hard to break this Battery team down.
Jared Stroud fizzles one across the box. Ball in to Lemma on that far side, and now Kuzminski out of the back. There's movement from the Red Bulls bench down below. John Wolniak up as he looks over this side.
Battery will do well just to keep the ball here, but they've got, you know, Candela and Angelo Kelly in midfield. They're both workhorses, aren't they? Great athletes, chase everything down. And they just need that sort of one little break. And the higher up New York Red Bulls 2 push leaves more space in behind where, you know, Nikki Daly can really use his strength and his speed to try and get in and get another chance.
Direct ball into the attack, almost brought down by Epps. Van Schaken, the racers, and first to it. So there the movement from the Red Bulls bench, and for Mike Hanhauser, missing Ian Svanterson tonight, who is out on a suspension. But like we mentioned, the 2018 leading goal scorer Tula Guerra back on the side and on the bench for Mike Hanhauser. I'll tell you what, Derek, the fans would absolutely love to see an appearance from him tonight.
Yeah, and you never know, he may get his chance. I mean, with the sending off now, it might be a little bit more limited. You know, not really sure what his fitness levels are like. He's come back after a little bit of a layoff, so that'll be interesting to see. But he's like a new signing, isn't he? You know, when you get someone of his quality coming at this stage of the season, it's a real big boost to him and the players.
15 goals on the season last year. Here's Stroud, just forced to bring it back a couple of yards. And again, 2 balls on the pitch, just out of your camera view. There is the hold-up, Luber. Red Bulls 2 on the front foot. Looking to push one into the box. Here's Jared Stroud. All the way back. Angelo Kelly to safety. The Red Bulls 32 goals on the season. Here's Niku Daly. Moro so far off his line there, but does just enough.
It's good goalkeeping in the end, wasn't it? But, you know, that's one of them ones where it goes wrong. You could look with egg on your face there, but you have to say he done well. It was a nice little header, just cushioned it to the side, and he knew only one player was joining.
Niku Daly again, though, showing his speed up top. Bezecourt out wide, but Master in the attack. Takes a deflection as it falls to the top of the box. Left for Lemma, who's going to take the strike, and no worries for the Battery at the back.
You have to say almost Red Bulls 2, they're almost overplaying in and around the box. We're having too many touches. No one really wants to take that shot on. You know, I'm sure that's what the coach is saying. He's just saying you don't always need 2 touches, just maybe 1 touch. One of you's got to take a chance. So,
Red Bulls 32 goals on the season so far, 25 of which have come from inside the box. Only 7 of them outside. As to your point, Derek, they like to work it in.
The stats don't tell the true story, do they? You know, the worst pass accuracy, but they scored the most goals. And you know, even tonight you can see sometimes they overplay a little bit in and around the box. They do it very well around their back, like they're doing now. But once they get in and around the goal, they probably have too many touches.
Jordan Scarlett can't connect in the midfield. This could be a chance for Niku Daly. He's one-on-one with Roro, and it's absolutely got to be. He finds the back of the net regardless. What a moment for the youngster. 1-0. Charleston.
So we spoke about it, didn't we, during the half, and we've spoken about it since there. He's great celebration there, by the way. But you know, this is him all over, isn't it? You know, they've been squeezed up. He's got him behind. He's used his pace, and he's got a very cool head for a young man, isn't he? The way he finished that now, and we'll get to see the finish again. You can see he was getting tugged back. He stayed on. He used his strength there, and we'll see it now. Look, we'll see that he gets pulled back there. Look. And that was a win-win for the Battery anyway. It was going to be a red card or a goal, and I think they'd rather have the goal, to be fair.
Kilwine just couldn't do anything to hold McHugh Daly back. A clear and obvious foul there, but regardless, he's beat Lauro. He finds the back of the net, and he has put the Battery in front.
No, that's very, very good. As I said, you know, we've called it. That's one that we've done. I think the referee's going to come over and have a little chat to some of these substitutions.
Hear the box for the card down below. Derek, what do you think of that? The goal or the red card?
No, I think what they're asking for, they're saying even though it wasn't a red card, they should still give him a yellow card, but the referee can't. He hasn't given a foul because there hasn't been a foul. He's given the goal. So he doesn't have to give the card, and quite rightly so.
Hugh Daly on absolute fire lately. Just 18 years old. The Jamaican showing his speed up top.
It's fantastic for him, but as I said, you know, it was always going to be the case. You know, the further up they squeeze, the more space they leave him behind. He had half a field to run into. We know he's got great pace, and there you can see he's a very good finisher as well. He's got a big future, this boy, if he keeps going.
The Battery down to 10 men. If you're just joining us, Tarbrine and Unga shown straight red on the stroke of half-time, but the Battery find themselves on the score sheet first. Short John Molnack displeased down below us.
Well, he won't want his defender to be sent off, but I'm sure he'll be thinking, you know, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to make sure he stops scoring, because, as I said, nothing worked there.
But as you said, Derek, sometimes difficult to go up against a team that only has 10 men that have got a spring in their step.
No, and as I said, what they've done, the Battery, they've done exactly what they do. They've gone 2 banks of 4, left a big striker up front who's very quick, and they're playing on the break. And, you know, look, they're disciplined. There's, you can see clearly on the screen, 2 banks of 4, you're 4 in midfield, very compact, and they're going to force New York Red Bulls to play around them. They're going to have to say, we have to go wide, you're going to have to play very quickly. If not, you're going to come through us, and your touch has got to be good. And up until now, they haven't found, I mean, I don't think they've had a real good chance yet. So, yeah, they're going to ask some questions of this young team.
Kilwine trying to connect down the flanks, unable to do so.
And coach is getting a little bit frustrated right now. He's a little bit out of the picture now, but you can see you know, as I said, it's that mental thing. We've got a man over, we've got to pass the ball a bit better, we've got to keep the ball a little bit better, a little bit more patient.
Again, McHugh Daly. They're throwing down this near side.
Yeah, and he's got loads of energy, isn't he, McHugh Daly? You know, and now that goal, you know, he's put another 100 miles in his tank, isn't it? You know, his energy levels are up. He'll want to get another one now. You can see from his celebration, he loves the attitude to score goals, doesn't he?
Kyle Nelson, the rookie, out of the back with the lofty ball forward. Couldn't do anything with it on that occasion. And round the back for Red Bulls 2, here's Scarlett. Time and space in front of him. Zayats.
Good thing for Red Bulls too is there's a long way to go in this game. There's 30 minutes now, which is an eternity in football, especially when you've got 10 men, and people will get tired. Now they've had some long road trips, and as I said, it's going to be, it's not going to be an easy job to ride out this last 30 minutes. I think there's more goals from the Battery if they play quick enough. You know, Daly's definitely a real threat. Joker's Mincey's going to manage the game here just by slowing the game right down. Then Taylor Mueller's a vital part of this. Him and Leland Archer, their experience, or Taylor's experience, and Leyland now's got experience after his 2nd season. It's going to be a big ask for these 2 guys now to lead this team and keep the result.
Big ball from Kuzminski. Scarlett pumps one up in the air, gets the 2nd. Emma takes over for the 3rd. Handshake this time, and again, McHugh Daly, this time with Scarlett. And it takes an awkward touch. And here comes a corner for the Battery. And you've got to say, Nikhil Daly just firing on all cylinders as of late.
Right, look at him. He's just nuisance value now, isn't he? I mean, he's a young man. You know, the ball gets knocked over the top. He's going to chase everything in. He's got a corner for his team there from a pass, really, that was not going anywhere. So, I mean, that's the value that he brings. I mean, sometimes, you know, I don't want to discredit him. He's unpredictability. He knows what he's doing. But he's unpredictable for a lot of the defenders that he plays against.
Mueller left behind to shore up the back. Leland Archer in the box, though. And here is Candela with the delivery. Brilliant one into danger. Heads away by Scarlett.
Just let that run out and just play. Again, one of the things now that, you know, any of the young people out there watching, or young soccer players that are looking to get into the game, watch. You know, it'll be interesting now how the Battery manage the game. Where they can, they'll take time to slow the game down. They'll try and keep possession where they can. Joe Kuzminski, every time he gets it, he'll try and take his time. Oh, there's a foul there.
Van Schaik, one of those veteran leaders, like you said, looking to take the sting out of the game. But here is a foul. Mike Anhauser up off his bench down below. Swarms of Battery players around. Taro Higashi, the man that was brought down. But it's going to be Candela once again over this set-piece opportunity. Nelson is up in the box. He's a very attacking player for Wofford College. Finished the season second in goals scored in his senior year.
Van Schaik's got good delivery now, isn't he? Now the referee's trying to get his 10 yards. Again, that's what they'll do. This is how they manage the game. You know, they'll take all the opportunities they can, make the referee go through all these protocols, and then, you know, now it's all about the quality. Jared Van Schaik's got to get good balls into the box. They've got some big lads up front.
Here it comes from Van Schaik. It's a brilliant one. Scarlett first away. And this kick from Kelly. Swarms of red coming out the back. Stroud, brilliant recovery run from Carl Nelson, and Mueller steps in to help him. Back and forth. Now some pumps to safety.
I think the Battery just got to realise, you know, you don't have to play pretty football in there. Someone just, if they all squeeze up, just think it over the top and let Nikhil Daly do his stuff. I mean, he's shown already that he can score goals and he can create chances. So, you know, it doesn't have to be pretty at this stage.
Luber, the German, drafted 22nd in the 2019 draft. Actually attended Fordham University, finished his career with 31 assists, just behind John Molniak, actually. He still holds the record at that college. And like we knew things could get, Derek, things starting to get a bit chippy again down there below us.
No, I mean, New York Red Bulls now start to get a little bit frustrated, won't they? The game stop-start, it suits the Battery. They've got their goal, their noses in front. And, you know, they're looking just to, I mean, I don't think the game's ready just to be set up, just to be played out. It's a poor ball there by Taylor Mueller, but the point I'm making is that the Battery now, you know, these young players, they want to keep going, they want to try and build up a head of steam, and the Battery will do everything they can just to kill the game.
Scarlett out the back for Buckmaster.
I just don't think they've moved the ball quick enough. They're very predictable right now, and as I said, there's not a great deal of movement going forward. Look at it, there's not a lot of opportunities there. The Battery have done a great job of just bunkering themselves in, but the ball's got to be moved a lot quicker.
Good ball through for Jared Stroud. Mueller there with the press, but couldn't do anything for the cross. Kuzminski quick to react, though.
Yeah, and Leland Archer done a great bit of defending. We see that again, the way he just got his body across, making sure nothing was getting in between him and the ball.
Let's have another look at this, Derek.
Yeah, here we go. Just watch Leland Archer in the middle there. Look, he just comes across, look, making sure, yeah, nothing's getting in behind him. Good defending.
Mueller up for the head. Support couldn't quite keep a foot on it. Nelson tracking back to the back line. Taken quickly. Stroud for Zayat. Zayat's really the workhorse in the middle of the park with the distribution. He's had a pretty quiet game so far though tonight.
No, I mean, a lot of the New York Red Bull players have. I mean, as I said, they haven't got someone that's prepared to take someone on. They're trying to work their way through. And the Battery doing just a good job of just sliding across. They've worked it wide now. Now they need to better go round the back, not back inside. It's very crowded in there. Maybe Epps is the one that can maybe get round the back. He's probably the one player that's shown a little bit of enterprise. Here he is now.
Assessing his options. It's a ground ball into the box. And Mueller absolutely furious there that the press wasn't on. But no worries for the Battery.
And what he's done is, he's quite right, Taylor Mueller. They forced him inside, but they've got to block that pass. They've done a great job, forced him inside. And then they can't let him have an easy pass.
Kuzminski, big ball out of the back. Sends one flying. Scarlett on the end of it. Takes a knock. Kelly can't bring it down, but Archer can. Van Schaik. For Higashi. Brilliant ball through. It's Candela. And Vincenzo Candela whipped one into the box. He's assessing his options. Not too much on around him. He managed to find a bit of space for himself. Candela. All the way through the back. No one home. And Luba to bring it to safety.
He surprised himself, Vincenzo Candela. That was a great cross. Something they're not used to seeing from him, I think. That hard work in midfield player playing as a winner.
Jared Stroud, we mentioned him in the pre-game. 5 goals, 4 assists on the season so far. Showing a bit of trickery. John Wozniak up off his bench down below. Bezecourt, really the veteran of this very young side. Like we mentioned, the Frenchman, 26 years old. The oldest player behind him though, just 23. Kilwine wasn't expecting that. Daly quick off his mark. Luba.
Again, very predictable. Look, playing the ball in and around. Battery got loads of people behind the ball.
Higashi with the press. Candela steps into tag team. Ball's looking to create something on the attack. Jared Stroud strolling all over the park in the late going.
And Archer just happy to just clear the lines, and then there they go. They regroup again. Look, the line of compensation is very deep inside their box. There's not a lot of room in behind, as I said. New York Red Bulls going to have to go round the sides.
Stroud once again in the box. Jared Stroud, this is dangerous, but they couldn't capitalise on that opportunity. Jurgensen's going to want that one back, Derek.
Yeah, no, he is, and I'll tell you again, Taylor Mueller done great not to foul here. Look, look, he could have fouled, and that would have been a penalty. And Jurgensen's got to score there, hasn't he? He's actually hit it with the wrong foot. Should let that come onto his right foot and just side footed it in. That's a chance there, and that's a warning. That's a warning now for the Battery that it's the first time they've actually got round them, round the back.
Jared Stroud setting it up on a plate there. The scoreline remains though, Naku Daly being the only difference in the match so far. If you're just joining us, 1 red card on the stroke of half-time for Tar Brian Anunga. The Battery down to 10 men for the remainder of the match. Here's Epps into Bezecourt. Room for the Red Bulls. Jurgensen now. And a deflection almost. It looked like it took, but just wide of the target. Goal kick for Kuzminski.
And that's another chance, and I think the coach is doing all he can just to leave him on the field right now. He's not had the greatest of games. He's been caught offside a few times. You can see he's a very bright prospect. He gets into some great positions. He just needs to finish them, and that was a real chance there. It's a great intelligent run he's got in, and he should really have just scored. All he had to do was lift it over the keeper.
There's the goal scorer for the Battery, Naku Daly, 18 years old from Jamaica. Epps.
And they're just starting now to put their pressure, starting to tell a little bit. I know the Battery players are a little bit tired, but they're finding it harder and harder as the game goes on to stay with the ball.
Angelo Kelly turning into traffic, but using his strength to get through. Mueller switches the flank. A good touch from Van Schaik, cuts inside. Almost loses it there though, one too many touches. Lemmer. Moves it off across the box, Jared Stroud. Into Luber, who drops one across the box. Nobody home though to get on the end of it.
And that's where the battery can cause themselves problems. Jared Van Schaik, all he's got to do is look to find Daly early. There's a big target to hit. You can see now how high the goalkeeper, Loro now, look, he's almost playing like a sweeper keeper. So they know he knows the threat. He's positioned himself there. But it's a real awkward time. It wouldn't surprise me if we see a little change at some point now from both teams, because their players are going to start to get tired.
It's Kilwine straight over the top. Over there on the far side, and Q Daly down. Just holding it up. 70 minutes almost in the books here from MUFC Health Stadium. It's Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you for joining us for tonight's match wherever you are. Brilliant match this is turning out to be.
We said the game would be changed because of the sending off, and it certainly has, and then Daly's goals made it even more of a cat and mouse game now. And as I said, let's see how it unfolds.
We mentioned in the pre-game 15 goals were scored between these two sides in regular season play last year. Just one goal separates them as of right now though. Kelly brought down, that'll be a throw for the visitors. And Angelo Kelly, a bit of an energizer bunny in the midfield in the shoes of Tarbran Anunga.
Big shoes to fill.
Luber lays one off, finds Stroud in space.
The battery now, where they're vulnerable now, down this right-hand side. Piggott and Nelson have got to get a lot tighter. They're getting some success down here on their left-hand side, New York Red Bulls. Laura's coming into the game a lot more. And as I said, I think it's something that might need to be addressed from the sideline.
Quickly taken for Lemmer. Stroud there as well. Straight into the box though. Kosminski making sure it's up and over. Fans, you can follow the Charleston Battery and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC and many more. Join over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com.
See now that New York Red Bulls too are going to look to make the substitutions. As I said, I think they need something a little bit different. And as I said, I'm sure they'll go to the bench very soon.
Jared Van Schaik steps in. Couldn't find the back pass. Jurgensen is onside. Still Jurgensen, and what a save from Kosminski to just get something on it. And it falls out wide for a throw-in.
That's a battery throw-in as well.
Joe Kosminski, the saviour there from a loose pass. Jared Van Schaik at the back. Let's have another look, Derek.
Yeah, this is a great save. Look, he gets a little touch to it because that could have been a penalty. If he mistimes that, that's a penalty. And the way the referee's gone, that could have been a red card as well. But again, that was all called by Jared Van Schaik just being sloppy. I think Jared, for a man of his experience, he's just got to realise sometimes you've got to put your foot through the ball, clear your lines, and we'll go again. Overplaying in that little final third.
John Morniak's getting ready to make two changes. Here's Jared Stroud. Archer straight through. Here comes the centre-back. Denied by the other centre-back, Jordan Scarlett, but Angelo Kelly is there for backup. It's Kelly. Q Daly is on the run. Can he find feet? Still Angelo Kelly. Takes a touch to the top of the box. Lays one off for Piggott. Romario Piggott over the top of the bar.
And Angelo Kelly there, that's fantastic play, isn't it? He's driven out from midfield. I mean, it all started off with Archer, but he picks it up, he drives through, he delays it. He's happy to take him on himself, isn't he? He then plays a really intelligent pass to Piggott. Piggott takes one little touch, and he should score, doesn't he? He needs to score there. And now the referee's having another conversation with another player. He's had a lot of conversations tonight, the referee.
It was brilliantly worked by the home side. Leland Archer catapulting into the attack from the back line, and here comes two changes for the visitors. Off comes Buckmaster and on comes Edgardo Rito. the Venezuelan. And another substitution closely to follow. Coming out. You can see there Zayas coming out and Elney making his way in. Some attacking changes for the visitors, Derek.
Yeah, I think they're going to go to a 3 at the back, try and push another one further on and really try and really pen the battery back in. You see Romario Pigot's playing further, deeper and deeper. As I said, he could have put the game to bed there. I think another goal at this stage would have really put the nail in the coffin.
Johnson forced back, does enough. Good defending from the rookie. Only just 22 years old, has played in 11 matches now, only started 3 of which. 1 goal on the season so far. Former Maryland Terp. Rito at the back prior to this has spent his career playing in his native Venezuela. Kuzminski straight out of the back. Knocked on, but Mueller's there. Higashi. And here comes Rito, the substitute. Just knocks it out wide. Some power down that far side.
So straight away you can see his intention though. You can see he's been told, get on there, run at them, see if you can create something, and straight away he's had an impact into the game right there. And that's something they haven't had already. There's someone actually driving at this back 4. You can't pass your way through, you've got to run with it through there and try and break those lines.
Here's Daly, Nicu Daly one-on-one. He's going around and look at the speed of Nicu Daly this time. Kilwine can get back. Absolute lightning speed up top. Bezecourt into the middle of the park. Lemo with time and space.
Actually, they're playing the 9 players right now. Key Daly's definitely, looks like he's pulled something there a little bit. Could be time for Zico Lewis, I think, to come on. Or
only his second start, his first one being against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Has been, up until this point, used as a bit of a super sub so far this year by Mike Anhauser. And it looks like you're absolutely right, as Zico Lewis gets ready to make his way onto the pitch against his former parent club, New York Red Bulls, who actually drafted him.
No, I think he was their first pick back in 2016 or 17.
Selected 17th overall by the Red Bulls in 2017, then had a spell playing overseas in Iceland, and he'll be relishing the opportunity tonight to come on and play against his former parent club after a brilliant spell with Bermuda for the Gold Cup.
Yeah, no, I was very fortunate to go and watch the game on Monday night where Bermuda recorded their first ever Gold Cup win. Fantastic experience, you know, in a real platform for youth development. You know, all those kids played together when they were 12. I think 15 of them were original academy players for that country. So it was a real achievement for them and fantastic for the country. And Zico was a very big part of that. And as I said, he'll be relishing getting back in. He played on Monday. He then went and played a little bit on Wednesday, and now he's going to get to play again on Saturday.
Nicu Daly, the goal scorer, makes his way off though. What a solid shift he's put in tonight, the difference so far.
He's played well beyond his years, hasn't he, today? For sure he's done that. He's played well beyond.
Zico Lewis making his way on. He's going to bring a bit of hydration to Joe Kuzminski at the back. Zico Lewis on stellar form for both club and country as of late. Let's see what he can whip up against his old side.
Yeah, he's not got the actual electric pace of a Nicu Daly, but what he does have, he has got a very creative brain where he can, you know, create things for other people. He's very good at securing the ball. He very rarely gives the ball away.
Here comes the final change from John Wolniak's side. Marcus Epps making his way off, and it's the youngster Ben Mines, just 19 years old, has scored 2 goals in 2 starts against the Battery, and he'll be looking to make that 3 of 3 tonight.
Yeah, and I think Epps has been one of the few players that definitely has, you know, gone at this battery back four. He's run with it quite well. He's put a really good, you know, he's had a really good game. I think, you know, he's been one of the bright sparks of this Red Bulls 2 team.
All 3 changes complete for Red Bulls 2. Here's Zico Lewis, quick to get on the ball in the early going. Scarlett out of the back, trying to make it 4-4. Higashi on the return.
He's a totally different proposition, Zico Lewis. He has got speed and pace, but his creativity, here we go again. Oh, dear me. I'm not so sure, again, I don't know what happened there, but he's very tricky and he comes in, he reads the game very well, very bright. You can see there he comes in, look, again, let's see what he does here, does he? Oh, there's a little tug, yeah, maybe the referee's got that one right.
10 minutes left to play here from Charleston, South Carolina. Poppy Miller alongside Derek Broadley. Thank you for joining us for tonight's match, wherever you are. Ball out of the back. Luba, brown ball to the box. Jared Stroud's there. Traffic in the box, but they found the equaliser. New York Red Bulls 2 find themselves back in the score sheet on the stroke of the final 10 minutes of the match.
That would be disappointing for the battery there because it was a scrappy goal, wasn't it? I mean, they had a couple of chances to clear. It's a great touch here. Good cross in. There's one chance to get it away. There's another chance, and they just don't get tight enough.
Jurgensen, he had a couple of chances in the early going, and he capitalises on that one. One apiece for the final 10 minutes of tonight's match. Zico Lewis to get us back underway. Demanchuk bringing it back though. You can see the Red Bulls there raring to go.
There's blood in the water now for them, isn't it? They're really going to see that they can try and, I mean, the battery players are, I think they've got one more substitution at the battery. And it wouldn't surprise me if we see like a more defensive-minded player come on now. They've had their noses in front, now they've been pegged back. So all to play for this last 10 minutes.
Wine. Time and space out of the back. Zico Lewis comes flying in with the pressure though. See Wong there, not very happy down below with him. He's been up all match coaching his players through the game. Kilwine across to Scarlett. Sitting in defensively, the press from Higashi. Rito is roaming into the box. Higashi almost getting caught up with his own player.
It's the second time Rito's got it. Looks very direct, doesn't he? He's come on. Look, there he goes again. He wants to get in behind. There's been a bright spark for sure.
Van Shake safety first. Visitors get it underway quickly. Ground ball out to the back. Zico Lewis is there. The referee waving play on.
Very tight there, just put your foot through it.
Lewis finds feet. It's Higashi. A brilliant ball to the feet of Angelo Kelly. You can see it's going to be a yellow card there, Derek.
Yeah, I think if that's further up the field, the referee's got a decision to make, but you know, that's a yellow card, isn't it? It's a tactical foul, it's a good foul. You're the defensive team. But good play by Angelo Kelly again. Look, there it was, he saw what was on, he saw the space in behind, then he's knocked it round. And yeah, that's the old professional foul there. As you said, if you knew Red Bulls, that's a good foul to give away there.
Comes a chance for the battery to spray one into the attack. Zico Lewis now the lone striker. Confirmation of that yellow card for Preston Kilwine. He was the culprit against Naku Daly. He pulled him back, but there was just no stopping the Jamaican youngster who made it one for the battery. And Jurgensen to tie things up. Jared Van Shake out of the back, goes into the feet of Candela. Not much on around Candela, led him to the Sharks a bit in the middle of the park. one on Jurgensen. Jurgensen! And away at the near post by Kuzminski.
All came ready for the poor free kick, wasn't it? They're trying to overplay in the their half, instead of just putting it in behind, giving their defence a little bit of a break, and as I said, causing their own problems a little bit, the battery here. Here we go again, look. It's a good run in behind. Taylor Mueller does, it's great defending, and Joe Kuzminski stands tall.
A big ball towards the back post. Van Schaik there first. Candela trying to bring it out. Battling with Lemmer, and here comes Zico Lewis. Candela absolutely furious there. I think he was already furious that the advantage wasn't given, but the referee in fact giving it the other way, Derek.
And a yellow card to boot. I mean, with the slot. I'm sure if you're Coach Mark and has, let's have a look at it now. So look, there's a good tussle there, look. Yeah, it's a foul, isn't it? It's a foul on Candela. And not only to argue and then to get the yellow card there was, let's just hope something doesn't come of this, because this could be a real talking point after the game if something comes of this.
Scarlett takes it quickly. Out wide to Rito. Rito tracking inside. The strike is on this time, and good hands from Kuzminski. Looking for Higashi straight out the back. There's the substitute to deny him.
They're getting a little bit stretched now, the battery, as I said, Lito here, he's at it again.
So coming rolling in at the last second as well, Elney there. And the substitutes, you've got to say, Derek, have had quite the impact on the match.
No, and often they do, don't they? They come into the game. I mean, you know, if you're a neutral person watching this game, it's had everything in it: red cards, goals, good action, potential yellow cards. You know, it's been a good game. It's not been a high-quality soccer spectacle where people are passing it, but it's had all the ingredients of an exciting game and keeping people on the edge of their seats. And for the last 5 minutes, we're still wondering which way it's going to go.
And if the scoreline remains, a couple of statistics will as well. Rebels 2 are undefeated at MUSC Health Stadium, and of course Mike Anhauser's side undefeated at home so far this year. Zico Lewis battling with Scarlett. On his own up top though.
He works for his team, look, he chases back. Now they've just got to get back in. Piggott's got to do a good job here and get back in. There's Lauro's over the back post. Nelson's got to get back in.
Rito. Time and greenery in front of him, goes back to Lemmer. Wozniak wanting the switch, not quite on though. Van Schaik there. Still Jared Van Schaik, and he'll get the call in the end.
And I think what Wozniak is really worried about, or what he's concerned about, is his team just have not moved the ball quick enough to move this battery team around. You know, when you've got an extra man, you want to spread it wide quickly, open up the passing lanes, but they haven't done it. It's been very slow, very pedestrian. And you can see he's on the bench now, really complaining about his team that they haven't worked it quick enough. And they've given the battery way too much time just to get back in, and they've looked very comfortable most of the game, the battery.
Scarlett on the end of Kuzminski's kick. Archer. Higashi's there. Kelly steps in. Is it enough? Still Angelo Kelly. Out wide to Romario Piggott. It's a good touch from the Panamanian. Takes one inside. Kelly at the top of the box. Goes one way, goes the other. Gets the strike away. Lauro spills it, but no one there for the follow-up. And he quickly gets it out to Rito. Rito with fuel in the tank. And what a sliding recovery run from Zico Lewis, who comes the other way. Back and forth in this late going. Kelly. Zico Lewis wants it back. It doesn't come to fruition on that occasion though.
And although it's unbelievable play by Zico Lewis, when it chased back there, great tackle, come in and then go on for things. But I think the battery probably would have just done with getting that in the corner and keeping the game safe. You know, the man down, you know, they need to just get back in. His Piggott, he's got to get in. Angelo Kelly's got to get in. He's had a great game, Angelo Kelly. I mean, he's gone from right back to, you know, where there's a big hole from Anunga's red card. He's gone in there, and not only has he done great defensively, he's done very, very well going forward.
Battery sitting in compact. Chris Lemmer, the New Jersey native, spraying it around the field. Mueller first to the step. Bezecourt out wide to Luber. Here's Stroud. Jared Stroud trying to get the ball again into the box. Mueller's there to apply the pressure. Lemmer. Here's Luber from the back. Just loses his footing. Jared Stroud looking dangerous when he's tracking into the box with that negative ball. Looks like Mike Canhouse is getting ready to make his final substitution of the match. AJ Patterson with his jersey on, ready to come in for the final couple of minutes.
I think Higashi's coming out as he's really run around and caused problems, and Patterson's just that little bit of extra insurance to try and get him over the line, isn't he? A bit more defensive minded. Big strapping athlete, and he'll just come in and just sit there and try and ride this game out now. And I'm sure the Battery, considering they had the man sent off at half time, although they were in front for a long period of time, I'm sure they'll be very happy if they can get out of this, keeping their home record intact.
There is confirmation of that. Referee Sergei Gamanchuk just indicating 4 minutes of added on time for the remainder of this match, and there's confirmation of that substitution.
And that's for all the substitutions, and Daly had his little injury that took up a little bit of time, so that's probably about right. Normally you get the standard 3 and then the 1 for the injury.
Looking for the sub. Stroud leads one through for Jurgensen. This could be dangerous because Minsky quick off his line.
Another good starting position by Joe Kuzminski, keeping it out.
Vito quick to keep the attack alive. Numbers in the box for the Red Bulls. All the way over to the back. Bezecourt's there. Nelson works well out to the back. Denies on the corner.
4 minutes.
Here's Luber. Takes the touch inside to the top of the box. Stroud goes straight into the box. It's a brilliant header, but no worries for Kuzminski. Ball to collect.
We're getting to that time of man of the match, right? We've got to look at it, and although the obvious one would be Nikki Daly, I think I'm going to give it to Angelo Kelly. I think he's had an unbelievable game. I think he's done well at right back. He's gone in there. He had to fill some big shoes. He's done it not just defensively but attacking wise. He's been very good going forward. He's worked his socks off. So to me, the Heineken man of the match is going to be Angelo Kelly.
Angelo Kelly has been all over the park as of late for Mike Anhauser. The Heineken man of the match for tonight's game, Angelo Kelly. Absolutely agree with you there, Derek. Dropping back to defend. Archer trying to get it out the back. Ben Mines putting the Battery back line under some pressure.
I think that it's just at times the Battery have just been a little bit too casual. As I said, you know, this stage of the game, just get it forward. They don't have to play up in the back. Get it into their half. You know, there's 2 minutes to go now. Now this will be seen as a good point. It's a point earned rather than, you know, 3 dropped. So, you know, let's take out what we got, take our medicine and move forward.
And if you're just joining us now, you wouldn't necessarily know that the Battery are playing with 10 men after Anunga's red card. Here comes Romario Piggott taking the greenery in front of him. Angelo Kelly brought down in the box. The referee waves play on. We'll hopefully have another look at that when this play finishes. But right now it's Zico Lewis. He goes straight through the middle before he runs into traffic. Bezecourt for Stroud, lays it off. Battery tracking back to get in a defensive shape. And Jared Van Schaik, nicely done.
Yeah, no, and again, who was on the end of that one? My man of the match, Angelo Kelly. He's looking there for the penalty. Look, it's a great tackle. Lucky enough it didn't hit the defender's hands, but yeah, good tackle there. But, you know, it just shows you what he's been about. He's gone in there to be the holding midfield player, and he's been very, very, very good going forward as well.
Scarlett has been the anchor at the back for John Molniak's side in tonight's match. Pumps that one to safety. Van Schaik in no rush to get us back underway.
And I think out of the 2 coaches, I think Mike Anhauser, although his team were a goal up, I think he'll be the more satisfied of the 2 coaches tonight. He's seen some great character from his team, some great endeavour.
Here's Romario Piggott, though, a loose one out to the back. Can he capitalise on it at the top of the box? for Angelo Kelly. Not too many options on, but manages to keep the ball. Zico Lewis now trying to find the feet of Patterson. Fan shake with the press. Archer is there and goes all the way home to Kuzminski. Jurgensen on the run, but nicely met by the Battery goalkeeper. Kelly. It's a brilliant ball from Zico Lewis for AJ Patterson, and the referee, has he given it, Derek?
No, he's given it. It's a yellow card, and I think it couldn't get any closer. I think he's given it. It gives them one last chance, doesn't it? He's going to allow this free kick to be taken. You've got Candela, who's there. Let's have a look. Was he inside?
Fantastic replay there by our team. I think the referee got it absolutely spot on there.
Yeah, no, at this stage of the game, he did. That was fantastic play. Broadcast boys, Matt Peacock and his crew, well done.
Zico Lewis and Candela both want this. Who do you fancy here, Derek?
I think it shapes up for a right footer, so Candela would be my bet, but Zico Lewis, the form he's on, you know, he could have a little cheeky one here, there. I don't think it's just the initial shot. I think a rebound here could be very much in the play, and this would absolutely bring this whole stadium to its knees if they get the goal here.
Fans up on their feet around us. It looks like Candela is going to be the one. Let's see what the boys can cook up, though. The referee just having a word with the line. Candela and Lewis just giving Mike Anhauser the thumbs up as he was trying to dish a bit of instruction to them. And this really is the dying seconds of the match for the match winner. And it is going to be Zico Lewis. What a strike! And barely over the top of the crossbar on the final kick of the match. That'll just about do it. 1-1 the final score. Derek, your thoughts?
Now listen, as I said, it wasn't a classic in terms of thorough soccer, passing movement, but what it has, it had every ingredient. It had goals, it had action, it had chances, it had commitment. Both teams were fully committed. Two very good goals. You know, if you're a New York Red Bulls, you're very pleased with the way you worked it into the box. Great individual effort by Nikki Daly. And then, as I said, you know, I think my man of the match, Angelo Kelly, typified what the game was all about. All action, all energy. He hasn't left any ounce of energy on that field, Angelo. And as I said, if you're a neutral, I'm sure it's a great game to watch. And for those viewers at home, I'm sure they'll be very pleased with what they've seen tonight.
Mike Anhauser's side remain undefeated at home this season. Let's take a look at some highlights from tonight's match. We'll start from the very beginning, Derek. The Battery came out on the front foot, and it starts with this strike from Jared Van Schaick.
Yeah, he just head down, hits the target. You know, the goalkeeper didn't want to catch it all night. This was the one chance they had, and as I said, it was a great save by Joe Kuzminski. And then we go on from there. I think here's the Candela effort again. No one wants to really catch it in those situations. Laura's looking just to punch it out and get rid of it. And then the big moment of the first half was this, and I'm sure this will be talked about. I'm sure a lot of people will have their view. I think the referee's too close personally, and he's just reacted to it. We had the benefit. Here's the goal by Daly, isn't it? It shows what he's all about. He gets dragged back, but he stands on his feet, and that's a very cool finish from a young man who's done there. This is there. It's a great touch here. And again, the Battery have a couple of chances just to clear it. They just don't quite get enough bodies in the way, and New York were back in it. Then we see this last one here, where we get it in. Angelo Kelly, who has been man of the match. He's had a good strike. They had to try and dig that one out, and then we had the free kick right at the end that nearly let it in. But fair result, I think. As I said, Mike Anhauser will probably have the two coaches be more happier, and you know, a good point considering in bad conditions.
Mike Anhauser's team will now get set for a Friday night match in Kennesaw, Georgia against Atlanta United 2. But that just about wraps things up from Charleston, South Carolina. On behalf of Poppy Miller, Derek Broadley, the entire broadcast crew here, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.